Manchester City in Europe, a disaster story. Domestic brilliance that's not been replicated on the continental stage.
Full time in the Bernabeu tonight. Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 0.
But where does this curse come from?
The referee blows the full-time whistle and Manchester City are out of the Champions League.
For years now it's been disappointment after disappointment. Some from afar and some from a little closer to home.
And Roberto Firmino with the icing on the cake, surely now for Liverpool.
They're managed by Pep Guardiola. European success at Barcelona and Bayern Munich, but nothing yet at Man City.
It's too late, he's rolled past the keeper and it's 2-1 Liverpool.
They've blamed VAR.
And he blows the full-time whistle. Well, Tottenham Hotspur have done it. It's one of their great nights. The underdogs have come to Manchester and got the job done.
They've blamed Copperberg bottles. They've even booed the Champions League anthem. But the search goes on. Overthinking it? A mental block? Overcomplicating it? Pure desperation to win it? They were knocked out by Lyon this year when it looked like theirs to lose.
And that is going to be enough to get Lyon over the finish line. It's the full-time whistle. And it's the shock result of the quarter-finals. Lyon have beaten Manchester City.
So let's investigate. One season, one shot at it. Let's make amends. This is City in Europe. Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Clates. This is Clates FM, and today we're going to start a new short series here on the channel, and that is going to be City in Europe. So Manchester City have got a terrible European record. Recently, they've been great in domestic competitions. They've won leagues, they've won cups, they've won the Carabao Cup more times, I think, than it's actually been a competition. It is ridiculous, but they still have not won that Champions League. They're still terrible in Europe, and that is why we're going to go and see if we can put that right, have one season shot at it, and see if we can go and win that coveted Champions League trophy. Right, we've been appointed as the manager, as you can see here then, and today's episode is going to work in a similar way to some previous episodes that we've done that have been similar to this. We've done previously saving Bournemouth, which was a one season shot, trying to make sure that we stayed in the Premier League, as of course Bournemouth did get relegated. And then very similar to that, we also did saving Espanyol, where we tried to do the same thing and keep Espanyol in the division. This is going to work in a pretty similar way to those two series, except for the fact that this is not going to be about relegation. This is going to be about trying to make sure that City win the Champions League. So we're going to play through one season. We're going to play the league games and everything too, but our episodes are going to focus on those Champions League games. So starting in the group stage and then each of the knockouts as well. I'm not going to say it's going to be 5 episodes. It might be slightly longer. It might be shorter, depending on how well we do here. The second we go out of the Champions League is when this series ends. If we win it, fantastic. Imagine the nerves of getting to that final. That is what we're going to go for, but we will see how we do in that regard. So in terms of how this first episode is going to work, it's going to work in a similar way to those other series that I just talked about, in that we're going to go straight to deadline day. We're going to conduct our deadline day business, look at what this City team needs to turn it into a European force. Why have they struggled so much in real life to win the European Cup, the Champions League? Can we bring in some players to make it easier this year? We have 1 day of the window to try and put those players in place before we get started and kick off our European campaign. All right, so I've just put the team together as if I was going to go into a game, thinking about the system that I might use, thinking about the players that I would select. I'm using this to try and identify some of the weaknesses that this Manchester City team might have. I say weaknesses in inverted commas there because really it's a very strong team. We know this. I mean, this is Man City. They got themselves a massive 98 points the season before this game. Of course, Liverpool did gazump them this year for the league title. I just said the word gazump there. I mean, what is that? But we know that this is a really strong City team. It should be capable of winning that Champions League already, but for some reason it's not capable of doing that. So we are going to try and see what we can do to improve it to make sure that we do go and win that trophy this year. And from doing this team, my areas that I think I'm going to focus on are probably going to be left back. I mean, Zinchenko, I'm not sure is the best player to be playing left back. Benjamin Mendy is, of course, there as well, but I'm not sure I rate Mendy that highly either. And of course, he's very, very injury prone, and he's actually carrying an injury right now, which again tells me maybe a left back is something that we need to be focusing on. But probably top of my list is going to be a centre back. Currently, the best two choices for me are Nicholas Otamendi and John Stones as centre-back options. I don't think either of those are good enough, really. And, I mean, John Stones isn't bad in game. Otamendi's not terrible. But to win the Champions League, we need to be strong there. So I think the first thing I'm going to focus on is a centre-back. Of course, Aymeric Laporte is out injured. He's out for 5 to 6 months. So we're not going to have him available. So signing a centre-back is key. Signing a left-back is preferable. And then finally, maybe someone else in this midfield. We've got David Silva, we've got De Bruyne, and we've got Bernardo who can play in there. But I just think maybe one more option. Somebody to play as like a proper box-to-box that isn't Ilkay Gundogan might be useful in the system. But again, that's kind of like on top of the priorities being a centre-back and a left-back. In terms of a transfer budget, we don't have that much relatively, of course. We have 47 million going into this deadline day. We do have lots of wages available, though, which we can chuck some of that into the transfer budget. We should be able to sign at least one big money signing on this deadline day. Let's get to it. Let's go and have a bit of fun in the market. All right, so let's say we're going to take part in this deadline day. We have until 5 o'clock tonight, and we're going to see if we can bring in mainly a centre-back and mainly a left-back. But I mean, if something else comes up, if something else takes our fancy, maybe we'll look to do something else as well as we sign ourselves a coach there. So let's start with left-backs. And we're Manchester City. The world is kind of our oyster. I think my options, and I'll point them out to you, and you can see if you kind of agree with me on these. I'm looking at Jose Gaia being an option. Alex Telles may be my favourite of the options, maybe one of the cheaper ones. He's only valued at 23 million. I say only. And Nicholas Tagliafico. Those are kind of my three main ones. Gaia, Telles, Tagliafico. On top of that, maybe the likes of Gulam. I mean, Gulam is useful. If you look at his attributes, he's got very high long throws. His work rate is also excellent. He's 6'1". Lots of things actually that can make him really useful in this match engine. So maybe Gulam as like a fourth choice. He's only valued at 14 million. Maybe he'd be a slightly cheaper one as well. What would they actually want? Do they only want 23 million for Gulam? Do you know what? I'm convincing myself as we speak here. I'm going to make an offer that's kind of cheap and say up to about 22 million there. I feel like that should be accepted. Yeah, 12 million comes out of our budget this year, which gives us about 40 million to spend on a centre-back. I've almost convinced myself already. What would they want for Telles? I'm kind of doing a scattergun approach here, by the way. That doesn't mean that Gulam is my choice. I'm going to put bids in for the others as well. And we'll see which one we want to go for. If I kind of bid for everybody and it gets accepted, it buys us a bit of time rather than bid for one, realise we don't want him, end up running out of time before we go for somebody else. So let's put a bid in for Telles as well. They want 34, and that's kind of like a done deal. That is all that they will accept. Tagliafico then, the next one. Very good defensively. 17 tackling, 16 marking, 17 work rate. All very useful. Only 5'7", which gives Gulam perhaps the advantage over him there. So 26 million for him. So 10 million this year, 26 overall. I mean, Tagliafico, let's put that bid in as well. And I guess it's going to be a case of comparing Tagliafico with Gulam. Tagliafico would cost more overall, but would cost less now. And then Gulam being slightly more now, but cheaper overall. Let's have a look at what I did say was going to be my priority, which is a centre-back. Again, because we're City, I'm just going to literally sort them by transfer value because, do you know what? We should be shopping in the most expensive shops here. Koulibaly, they're like an obvious choice here. If I just offer them 55, they ask for 87 million pounds, which that is quite a lot of money. Now, Koulibaly, I think would be extremely, extremely good. We'd probably have about 38 mil left over. Is it a bit less than that? We've got 54. We'd have about 30, let's say 35 up front that we could offer them. Let's do the installments as well. I mean, if we do 30 over installments, would they accept that? Maybe with the next sale as well. 50%. It's a lot, but this is a one-season shot at winning the Champions League with City. Let's take that hit later on. You see, they'd accept 35 million up front now, rising to 65 million. Do we just go and get Kalidou Koulibaly? I mean, I feel like it is an obvious choice, but should we just go with the obvious choice? Great in the air, brilliant centre-back. I mean, he's linked with City in real life. Let's put the bid in because do you know what? The fact that we can get him for 65 million, I think in today's market, that's a bit of a bargain. All right, so the other centre-backs that I was looking at, Ruben Diaz, an excellent defender, 23.5 million value, probably going to be a little bit cheap. Okay, Ruben Diaz for 20 million is a lot cheaper. Those are going to be my players that I'm going to offer for to start with at left back and centre back. We'll see what happens with the bids and we'll go from there. Before I do go though, I am going to look at, see if there's any bargains that can boost this team. James Rodriguez, of course, he's linked with Everton at the moment. Maybe they'd loan him to us. We'd pay his wages and pay 150k a week, which would be 9 million overall. Look at his attributes. Maybe he would be somebody who'd be used off the bench. Is he an option? I'm going to put the bid in. I might decide not to do this, but 9 million for a loan of Rodriguez for the season. Again, it seems like something City might do. Let's go and see which of these players we want to bring in for our one season shot at the Champions League then. All right, so as I expected, everything has been accepted. We have got Gulam and Tagliafico at left back to choose between. We have Koulibaly and Diaz at centre back to choose between. I think whichever pieces we choose from each side, we can afford to fit them together and get them into our transfer budget. So I don't think it matters too much in terms of cost. I still kind of want Gulam, you know. I'm not sure that this is a good idea, but he would want 95 to 125. They want similar in terms of wages. I think people might disagree with me on this one, but I'm going to go with, I think Gulam, 95k a week. I mean, it's big money, but he's a very good fullback. I think I'm happy to have that. Do we offer a contract to Tagliafico too? Do you know what? I'm not going to. I'm going to walk away. I've chosen Gulam. If that falls through, we go straight back to Tagliafico, by the way. But it's going to be Gulam. It's going to be our left back choice. Koulibaly or Diaz is our next question. Koulibaly wants a lot more in wages, but Koulibaly would be a mammoth signing, wouldn't it? That would be huge. I am leaning towards Koulibaly here and seeing if we can get that done. And if we can't, then go into Diaz. He would accept that. 250k a week. Koulibaly is going to be our choice. We're going to go for Koulibaly and Gulam. We're actually signing 2 Napoli players, aren't we? Let's see if these deals go through then, if we can afford them here on deadline day. All right, so they're set to do them. All 3 of them are set to go. Look, Gulam's set to sign. Koulibaly's set to sign. James Rodriguez set to sign. Let's do them. Let's start with Koulibaly, the most expensive one. Let's get that done, confirmed. Gulam, confirmed. James Rodriguez, accept that, confirmed. And there it is, it's done. Koulibaly is in, £65 million all in, a bit of a percentage of next sale too. Contract is signed at £250,000 a week. The fans, though, are happy with that. We'll send him on an intensive language course. Gulam is in, a C for him. Could be slightly better according to this, but I think he's still going to be better, at least defensively, and at least less injured than Benjamin Mendy at left back. Then James Rodriguez is a bit of a wild card one. In on loan, we're going to pay him a little bit of money. We're going to pay his wages. 3 big money signings on deadline day. I'm happy with it. Let's get them registered. And that is where we're going to end today's video then. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this first episode and you're looking forward to seeing more, please do make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn the bell on so that you get notified about future videos. Drop a like on the video too and leave me some comments. How do you find those signings? Do you think they're going to be a success? Would you have gone for Tagliafico instead? Would you have gone for Ruben Diaz instead? Remember though, this is a 1 season shot, so don't worry about things like ages and stuff. Which player is going to win us the Champions League? That's what I'm dealing with here. Or would you have gone for completely different players? Let me know in those comments down below. And yes, as I said, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the content, remember I do upload on YouTube on a Tuesday, a Thursday and a Saturday. All of those are 5 PM uploads. But I also do live stream over on Twitch on a Monday, a Friday and a Sunday. All of the links and all the information to all these things are down in the description. But go and drop a follow over on Twitch too, and I'll see you over there live. If you have any questions or if you want to know more about anything, you can come and ask me as we are live streaming. That'll be fun. I'll see you over there. I'll end it at that for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, have a lovely rest of your day. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.